And that right there is how it's done. And I'm about to show you how to do it with my second bird. It's a little bit quicker when you baptize them in a 350 degree jacuzzi. So we're going to burn our second bird now. You saw the first one before the intro, and if you look, I've got my second bird here. I'm going to go ahead and tell you how I prep it. First thing I've got is a Cajun butter. Everybody complains about the breast drying out on a turkey being such a dry bird. If you will inject it with some Cajun butter, you will keep that breast moist throughout this process. And if you'll notice, I'm working it out that muscle group. When I push it in, get deep, I start injecting and I'm pulling back the whole time, so I'm getting through that whole muscle group. Now this skin, when it goes in the oil, this skin is going to contract, so it covers up that hole and it keeps that Cajun butter in that breast. So it's cooking in that breast the whole time this bird is frying. All right, so this is the part where it gets messy. We've injected our breast, and if you'll look over here, this is barbecue rub. This is the same rub I put on Boston butts when I put them in the smoker. That first turkey that you saw, you'll see that it has black, the spice is black. Just like your pulled pork, you're gonna get a dark bark on the skin of this bird when it fries. So I'm gonna take this bird, move it over here into this rub. I'm gonna let it pick up what it'll pick up, flip it over, pick up what it'll pick up, and then I play the spread game. I'm gonna cover this bird with this rub. Get up in his armpits. Get his haunch, get him wangs, and you'll see my hands are getting pretty dang nasty. This is the nastiest part about frying a bird, is getting your rub on it, just like when you're doing a Boston butt. So I'm gonna throw some more up in the cavity there. Now I've got my bird set like that. Here's my stand that I had on the last bird. That's just burnt spice down on the bottom of that stand. You can burn 2 birds in your oil, and then your oil's about ready to be changed out. All right, so here we go. Now we're gonna talk about the safety factor of dropping a bird in oil, because I know you've seen all the memes and all the videos of houses catching on fire and stuff. You can fry a turkey safely if you follow these steps. 1, I have my oil at 350 degrees. You can see there on the thermostat, we are at 350 degrees. You will notice that this burner is not turned on. Most of the time when you get an ignition, it is when you are putting the bird in this hot oil and you have fire going under it. If the oil spills out and goes over, that's when everything catches fire and you've made a fireball. So I always turn off the ignition source, which is the fire under the pot. Now I've already burned 1 bird in this oil, so it's got the remnants of that burnt spice mix. I'm gonna go in with my second bird, and when I do, I go in slowly. If I just drop this bird, I'm gonna get a slosh. But if I drop it down slowly like this, controlling it, I can get my bird completely submerged in that oil without making a big mess. I return my lid. That bird is going to cool that oil down. We started at 350, and 350 is where we want to cook. Now I'm going to restart my fire. So now that's about all the fire I need to keep this oil, because it started at 350 degrees. I dropped the bird, it's gonna drop it some, but I don't really have to throw the fire to it. I just wanna keep it above that 320 mark to 350. At the end, we'll be turning it down to keep the oil no hotter than like 360 or so. All right, so you saw me inject the bird, you saw me rub the bird, and you saw me drop the bird. Now, what you didn't hear me talk about was how long I'm gonna fry this. And a lot of people wanna know how you do that. My calculation for when I'm frying a turkey is I look at how many pounds that bird is. This bird that I dropped was 11 pounds. I fry that turkey for 3 minutes per pound, and then I give myself a 5-minute safety factor. That 5-minute safety factor makes sure that if the bird was a little colder than it was supposed to be, for 5 minutes it's staying in that fryer at 350, it's gonna be a good safe bird to eat. And it also makes sure that my spice gets that good dark color that I like on the bird. I've had some people say it looks like you burned your turkey. No, I didn't. That's called a bark. Just like when you're barbecuing, you want a bark, I put a bark on my fried turkey. So that bird being 11 pounds, 33 minutes with a 5-minute safety factor, 38 minutes is the time that it will sit here and fry. And at that point, we'll shut the heat off, pull that bird out, carry it in, let it rest for about 10-15 minutes before you carve it. For the weight of the bird, plus a 5-minute safety factor. When I pull this bird out, you're gonna notice I leave it hanging over the pot. That's just to let all the oil that will drip off this bird go ahead and drip off. And like I said, people have looked at this and said, oh, I'm sorry you burned your bird. That's not burned, that's bark. That is friggin' gold. Whoever's carving this thing, they will be, nobody's gonna get that. That's going to whoever's carving, I promise you. We're good to go in the house with that bird. We'll let it rest for about 10 minutes before we ever start carving it.